If you're performing these mobility breakouts in the Ultimate Mobility Checklist and you are somebody that is doing front squats, cleans, or any movement where a barbell is held into the front rack, the next 3 tests are going to be really important for you. We also want to combine those with the thoracic mobility tests that we discuss elsewhere in here to understand if we have the mobility that we want in the areas we want for a good front rack. So with the front rack, most of the time individuals are struggling with wrist pain or stiffness or irritation when they struggle with their front rack mobility. So we're going to start testing there, but I have to say that very commonly people experience some pain here that comes from something else up the chain being stiff. The way we test wrist flexibility is we're just going to put our hands flat on a box, keep our elbows straight, and we're going to lean forward. And I just want to see, do we have the ability for our forearm to get vertical or slightly past vertical? If so, wrist mobility is not an issue in your front squat, and we need to go further down the chain in terms of mobility. So the second thing that we're going to test is going to be our elbow flexion. So we're going to turn our palm so that it's facing away from our body, elbows at the same height as our shoulder. We're going to extend our wrist, and we're going to use our other hand to bend our elbow. And so we're trying to see, can we get our knuckles to contact the anterior deltoid, the front of the shoulder there, to look at elbow flexibility. Some people might be limited by the joint mobility there. A lot of people, especially more muscular individuals, will be limited by soft tissue approximation, meaning the forearm and bicep muscles are large enough that they prevent us from having a lot of elbow flexion. And that can be a problem with the front rack, or it can not be an issue. So we're going to look at that, but then we have to combine that with our shoulder external rotation, where we have elbow at the same height as the shoulder, forearms vertical, and we look to see, do we have the ability to go outward some? If you have really good elbow bends, you won't need a whole lot of outward shoulder external rotation here. If you have poor elbow bend, then you're going to need a lot of external rotation to basically move around that elbow flexion limitation. So there's kind of a scale there between elbow flexion and shoulder external rotation in terms of how much you need from a mobility perspective to get into a good front rack positioning.